got one. Are you sure?
Did you get a speaker card?
Yes, I got three.
Three?
Non-agendized so far.
I'm sure we did. Yeah, the one that tipped over, the one that blew over. Still?
Welcome to the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board of Trustees meeting. This board meeting is being recorded. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs or record meetings provided the individual's conduct does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing the views of others. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the AVUHSD board shall do so in person, complete a speaker form, and give it to the designee before the public comment portion of the meeting. The speaker form must be given to Ms. Orozco before the board president announces the item. Once the item has been called, we will no longer accept new cards. Ms. Orozco will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. A total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Non-agendized items are limited to a total allotment of 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. The district encourages members of the public to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures, programs, services, acts, or omissions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. Speakers are cautioned that no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Attendees are also reminded of the board's civility policy, Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and other members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining disruption-free board meetings. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of its board meetings. Persistent disruption by an individual or group are grounds to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. Persistent disruption by an individual shall be grounds for the board president to terminate the individual's privilege to address the board. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and the public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor.
Good evening, everyone. Let's do roll call. Trustee Mann. Present. Trustee Hernandez. Present. Trustee Sanchez.
Present.
Mr. Hughes is not yet here, but he will be here soon. Our student board member, Rihanna Mbarque, is not here this evening, and I am here, Carla Corona. Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Sanchez.
Everyone, please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. D, public comments from the floor for agendized items. Are there any comments from the public on agendized items?
We don't have any comments for agendized items.
Thank you. Public comments from the floor for non-agendized items. Looks like there's a comment, 3 comments for non-agendized items. The public is invited to address the board on any matter not on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the board. To address an item not on the agenda, speaker forms must be given to the designee before the board president announces this item. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the total time for public input shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. During public comments, the board listens to concerns or issues. The board may ask questions for purposes of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the public or taking action on items not on the agenda. Laura Gonzalez, you could come to the podium, please. And this is regarding the topic housing and resources for homeless students. Welcome.
So hello, my name is Laura Gonzalez. I am the CEO of the Little Rock Rural Chamber of Commerce and also local advocate for our young high school students in Little Rock High. Currently, Little Rock High School is the only high school in this area that does not have a run-through tunnel for our football team. We also do not have mats that cover our flooring for our gym in the event that we need to cover our protective flooring. Our girls wrestling team, which I do have someone with me today, went to Golden League. They're Golden League champions. They've only been alive for 2 years, and they're Golden League champions. We have a lot of homeless high school students, and we have a lot of them that are special education. The chamber, let me back up. I was a social worker out here for 17 years in the Antelope Valley prior to this. I have done everything from initial removals, gang unit, human trafficking. I have been there to remove children when mothers ran after boyfriends instead of their children. So I am rooted here. I am from Little Rock High School. I'm the first girl on the wrestling team. My coach was, yeah, he's still there. Anyway, so I say all this to say that the solution is really simple. And the chamber is actually going to be the one enacting it, which is not a function of the chamber, but in a rural area it is. So the chamber now has a home where we have the opportunity to house 11 homeless high school students. Now, although the resource center, the hot kitchen, and all the other things that the chamber will be providing to the community will be open to the public, the housing situation will not be. The kids will, because I am a social worker, I do make sure that we will be following all when it comes to mental health. We have an MOU with Mental Health of America. We have with Tarzana Treatment Center, where I used to work as well. And we will be working with the Department of Mental Health itself. Everyone will be heavily vetted. The thing that I am looking for is assistance with housing. I am going to house them, and I'm going to do what I have to do, and that's okay. I would love to have the board behind me to provide additional assistance and resources, but that's okay if you can't, because I will do it. The reason I'm addressing you is just to let you know the issues that our kids are facing. Kids can't afford to go to prom. Kids can't afford to do half of the stuff that they're doing because our area is already viewed as a lower socioeconomic status, which means resources are taken from us. Our ag department also had their truck and trailer stolen and still has not been able to replace. We have a steer for the very first time in 10 years, and we have no way to transport. We are ag. No other schools are ag but us. So I'm asking for assistance, and I'm asking for you guys to stand behind me and support our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for clarification, Mr. Nehan, would you just provide an update for us on some of these comments that have been stated about Little Rock? Thank you.
Also about the truck and trailer.
Mr. Vespa and I talked about it yesterday or the day before.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Next is Genesee, hope I said that right, Molina, and the topic is her story. Welcome.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Genesee Molina. I am standing here today not just as a student, but as someone who survived your support system. And I quote, support. I was on the wrestling team for 2 years. I was your 135 Golden League champion, first of the girls. I earned first team in flag football, second team twice. I was a CSF member, a club leader, a Marcus Place leader, a STEM Expo presenter, and the head manager for the football team's only winning season. I maintained a 4.0 plus GPA. But none of that tells you everything I sat through. It doesn't say the truth. The truth is, after 2024, I lived in 6 different homes. Not by choice, but because my mother disagreed with my success. And it wasn't just words, it was with actions that made my life unstable and unsafe. I cried for days straight and no one asked why. While other students coped by giving up, I pushed myself harder, I trained harder, I worked harder, I kept showing up, but I was alone. In January, I was officially homeless. To survive, I now work 20 hours a week while doing independent study. I had to let go of my high school experience just to stay alive. I am pushing towards early graduation so I can attend 4 weeks of schooling to become a CNA in order just to have stability. But even surviving comes with its barriers you may not see. There is no reliable transportation for students like me, no consistent way to get to school, no consistent way to get to work, no consistent way of being able to make it home after sports. You say to use public transportation, but what about the rainy days when work still expects you to get there? What about the long walks to the nearest bus stop? We walk more than a mile. I had to let go of my. This is part of why I have over 200 absences. Not because I don't care, but because I physically could not get there. When I came to school for help, I didn't have a phone or identification. The help I received didn't come from the system. It came from a single community member who chose to care. When I was told to be connected to a homeless advocate, I was instead told to go find shelter on my own. And how is a homeless high school student supposed to do that without transportation, without guidance, without support? And even when resources do exist, they are not accessible in the way you think. Students are made to feel exposed instead of supported. Like asking for help is something to be ashamed of. And the people placed in those positions, the ones meant to help, are not always equipped to understand what students like me are going through. So students stopped asking for help. I couldn't change my address without parental approval, and the same people I depended on made my life stay difficult. I had no family to go to. I am building my life completely on my own. I have no phone, no consistent access to the same opportunities every other senior is given. I'm going to miss prom, I'm going to miss grad night. I couldn't even afford my cap and gown until the teacher stepped in and paid for it. I sat alone, I cried alone, and still I got back up. I still gave everything I had to be considered a great student. But I ask you today, how many students like me are you missing? At Little Rock High School, many students come from low-income households. Some of them live with multiple families under one roof. Some of us are surviving, not just living. And yet, when we fall through the cracks, we are told to fix it ourselves. We are expected to meet the same standards as you. It's adulthood, you say. Adulthood is built, not just thrown at you. You weren't on your own at 16. You weren't sitting countless hours thinking what your next move was. No student should ever have to experience homelessness, unemployed, without transportation, and still expected to succeed in high school. Today, I'm not here for myself. I am here for every student who tried to survive the system that was supposed to protect them. I am still standing, but I should have never had to stand alone. So I'm asking you to make it more accessible. I'm asking you to put the right people in the right place. People who actually listen, people who actually understand, and people who actually act. I'm not asking you for the future. I'm asking you for the right now. For the ones sitting in your classrooms right now, silently going through exactly what I went through. Because the next time a student stands where I'm standing, it shouldn't be to tell you how you failed them. It should be to thank you for finally showing up. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nehan, is it possible to get or I know it's possible, can you get us the stats of Little Rock and the foster number, etc.? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Next, Edward Torres, and the topic is a local hire. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Edward Torres. I own a company which I just started, Bear State Electric, and I'm based out of Palmdale. And the reason why I started my company was 5 years ago. I was a union member at the time, and I took a call right here in Palmdale to do a technology upgrades at the elementary schools. And every day I got sick and tired of hearing these guys coming from Paris. I think the company was out of San Diego. I disliked them so much, I can't even remember their name. But every day they were talking about how it was so far and they hated coming over here and this and that. And I said, well, if you guys dislike coming up here, why didn't you take the job? Their answer was, we were the only ones that bid the job. I go, you mean there was nobody from Palmdale or in the area here that could have that bid on the job? Nope. And as it was, I think they made like a $2 million profit because they gave such an outrageous price, and being the only bidder, they got the job. And so one of the reasons I started my company was, you know what, that ain't gonna happen again. And I'm here, I wanted to introduce myself. You know, at the time I said, hey, you know what, maybe there might be some more work that I can help out on, and now there is. So my company is Bear State Electric, 4 years old, and we're ready and willing. Anything you guys need, I'd like to see how I can get on your bid list, and you know, keep the work at home. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to train people, and I worked out in the solar fields. That's how I got up. You know, I'm originally from Orange County, and I came up here because nobody wanted to come to the solar fields. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, it's too much work. And I'm like, man, you know, stay home. And I was a witness as we had these kids called panelizers, and they had never heard about being an electrician. They just heard that it was quick work and that they were getting paid good. And I'm proud to say that a lot of these little panelizers are full-fledged electricians now. And a lot of them work for me, and I encourage them, hey, you know what, don't stop here. You know, there's also an apprenticeship, you know, find out what you can do to get in that apprenticeship, and 5 years later, you'll be a journeyman just like me, and you might be running work just like me. So, like I said, I'm from Orange County, but I love living in Palmdale, and I want to see what I can do to help, you know, and maybe, you know, help the kids and
30
teach them
seconds.
that there's a better way. Thank you very much. I sure do.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. All right, next up, F, bond project list. The board will receive a presentation about the bond project list. Mr. Vensko?
Good evening, Madam President. Tonight we have Fonder Solari Incorporated, the district's program manager, will provide an overview of the Measure AVH bond, where we've been, where we are, and where we are going. So I will welcome them to the podium, and we will go through, like I said, where we are, where we're going, and the project list that we are presenting.
Good evening. Is this on? I think it is. Good evening, Madam President, honorable board members, Mr. Superintendent, Cabinet. We are so thrilled and excited to be here this afternoon to start. Actually, this is for us like a start moment to kick off our work and the project. Not that we have done a lot of work, but to actually kick off the projects and start working on your bond program. A little bit about ourselves. Fonder Solari is specialized in K-14 construction. That's our butter and bread. That's all we do. We do school and community college program and construction management services. We're going to go through introduction of our team. We consider ourselves local to your market. Our head office in Santa Clarita. We have long history in Antelope Valley. We have served Antelope Valley College. We are currently working with Eastside Union School District and obviously with your district. So we have, again, long history in this area, and we are very excited to start working on your bond program. With that, I'm gonna let our team to further introduce, and we go through our presentation.
Good evening. Thanks for having us tonight. My name is Alicia Fonder, President Fonder Solari, and I just want to say thank you for having us this evening and allowing us to share details about the upcoming bond program. I'll hand it over to Mr. Fonder.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Fonder. I'm our Executive Vice President of Project Development. I'm excited to be here tonight, obviously, and I'm very excited about this next chapter and hopefully what you guys like what we have on the list to do.
And I'm Amin Solari. I am the EVP of Operation for Founder Solari. I'm going to also act as the program director for your bond program, which means I'm going to support Elliot. I'm available if any reports like CBOC meetings and all those good stuff is needed. And again, to make sure that the team is providing the services that's being promised to you. And Elliot.
Elliot, if you could just give me a moment, just Mr. Hughes, just for the record for minutes. He's now here.
Aye.
Go ahead, thank you.
Good evening, and my name is Elliot Meyer. I will be your program manager, so I will be here every day working on your bond programs. I will be your point of contact, the boots on the ground, just kind of being the general oversight of making sure we're maintaining budget schedule, making sure everything moves as smooth as possible, presenting to you guys, letting you know what's going on with the projects, and just kind of keeping everything on track. So let's go through a little bit of history. So everything kicked off with your projects back in the winter of 2024. That means January, February 2024, with your facilities assessments, where a bunch of architects and design firms are hired to they came in and really looked at all the campuses, developed a packet of information of what each campus facility needed, as far as what was deficient in the buildings or what was needed. Things like the track and field, things like the track and field or your gymnasiums or just classrooms in general that needed to be updated. So they put together that list of, it's called a facilities needs assessments. In the summer of 2024, the board voted to put an initiative on the ballot. And then in November 2024, Measure AVH was passed. So that gave us a good chunk of money to be able to work with. And then in the winter of 2025, the certification of results was performed. That just validated that everything was true and legitimate with the bond. And in June 2025, we were hired as your bond program managers. So what have we been doing since June of 2025? We took a real deep dive into those needs assessments. Those were really good pieces of information to really tell us what your district needed and each one of your facilities needed. In tandem with that, and I'll go into that a little bit deeper in a few minutes as what that actually looks like, but in tandem with that, we put together a document called policies, your program policies and procedures. This just really just creates a homogeneous list of list a way of we're going to communicate with you guys on how the projects are going to run. Communication policies. We worked with the district staff to develop this and make sure that we were really meeting the culture of the district, the cultures of the community, and we had good communication protocols amongst ourselves, our vendors, you guys on the board, and just the whole district staff in general. We also put together, we can't run these projects by ourselves. We need a bunch of partners to help us manage these, to get through these projects. So we put out a request for proposal and qualifications for companies, for design firms, for construction management companies. They're going to be the ones that are actually managing the direct project. We're going to be overseeing those construction management individuals. We hired a financial services consultant. They are going to help us make sure that we're staying on budget within the overall project. And then we have also hired a company to help us with state matching funds. This is really going to help us augment the bond money that we have and to help stretch our overall program to be able to see what funds are available from the state and make sure that we can really get the most bang for our buck out of our projects and try to get as much done as we possibly can. So going back to the needs assessments, that really worked into developing a good list of projects. There's a lot that we saw that we needed to do, so we can synthesize it down and came up with a list of projects. That led to establishing a steering committee. This was a group of individuals from the district staff and campus staff who helped us really shape what a project was, what was needed to be done at a gymnasium or in the classrooms or admin buildings, things like that. And they really helped us narrow it down and focus what needed to be done. We heard and listened to what each individual campus needed to put our list of projects together. And then we had to put value to these projects so we knew how far we could go with all of these projects. And then that really came into what we're going to see here in just a few moments, your project priority list. We then took this list of projects and we ranked them as a priority 1, which is something that definitely has to be done, or priority 2, which is a project that would like to be done if we had the funds available. And so we have now taken that, and what you see before us right now is the grand total of what our estimated rough order of magnitude budget is. We have our Priority 1 projects. We're looking at a subtotal of $280 million. Our Priority 2 projects are running at $80 million to give us a total of $361 million worth of work that we have estimated out. We understand that there is an agreement with the City of Lancaster for some cost sharing on their new aquatic center of $40 million. That's going to be included in our overall budget total. $401 million. We have to factor in some contingency costs for program costs and escalation contingency in case, for work that we're estimating now may not actually start until 27, 28. We want to make sure we have the money available for that. So we're looking at an overall grand total summary of $428,427,000 worth of work that we're looking to see. We can just run through real quick at each one of the campuses.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
Go back to the last slide, please.
Sure.
So matching funds, is the matching funds included in this number?
No, we have not. We have not factored in any state matching funds at this time.
Estimate on the matching funds potentially?
We don't know that information
Ballpark.
yet. I honestly
guess.
don't know. We're working with the consultant on that right now to try to work through that.
You've done this many times?
Well, depends on the nature
Sorry,
of...
I'm late. I'm coming in and cracking on you already. But
Sure. So depend on the nature of the projects. There are different fundings. Optimistically,
talking 50 million potentially, 100 million.
optimistically, I
2
think we can just have recoup about like the 20% of your bond. So
Okay, so you're another 80 million potentially.
yeah,
Thank you.
but something about the state matching
I'm
fund.
not going to hold you accountable. I'm just.
I understand, but I have to explain that a lot of time
I've
you are
done it before, but go on.
you are qualified for the state matching fund, and you are gonna get in the queue. But by the time that you see that money is like 5-8 years down the road. So
Well, sir, I might be an assemblyman. I might be able to help you out by that time.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked as well. Thank you.
sure.
Okay, so now we'll go through some of these projects, or go through the campuses and what the projects that we see, and just kind of give you a rough subtotal. So at Antelope Valley High School, we're looking at a replacement of 17 classrooms, 5 classrooms for your Ag CTE program. We need some temporary housing. When the students move back, when we're rebuilding the old classrooms, we need a place to put them temporarily, so we have some money allocated for that work. We're going to be doing some stadium upgrades for your track, and then we also have some ADA upgrades that we have to do as well, replacing door thresholds, path of travel, just to make sure that we're maintaining the state ADA requirements, and then just some general fencing repairs and replacements around the entire campus just to make sure it stays secure. And then we're under the understanding that the administration building is to be rebuilt. So for Antelope Valley, as a priority 1 list, we are looking at a total of $42 million. And just as a point of reference, I should have mentioned too that the order that's in this list here isn't necessarily the order that these projects are going to go. This is just how we develop the list. So any one of these projects we could start at any point. It's all going to depend upon how we would like to structure the work on the campus. As far as priority 2 project at Antelope Valley, there's some asphalt replacement that needs to happen in the North Stadium parking lot for a total of $2.6 million. At Eastside High School, the air handlers and chillers are one of the main projects that we understand they need to happen there. And then we also have some athletic field upgrades, stadium upgrades, and then the theater sound system so at Eastside High School for a project priority 1 total of $10.1 million. And we don't have any priority 2 projects at Eastside High School.
Can I ask questions? Sorry, can
Sure.
we ask questions in between? Also, just so you know, Mr. Nehan sent us this list, so I know I've reviewed this already, and I do have questions, but I'll ask as you go.
Sure.
Question for Eastside High School, the lighting speaker project, 300,000 upgrade sound system. I was under the impression we just did that.
We did. There were a set of speakers that were ordered that needed to get designed to be installed, but because of DSA and being able to move that project forward, We installed everything that we could, but did not install those speakers so that we didn't have to trigger DSA. So this would be to get those designed so that we can get them installed to
Okay.
finish the project. But we didn't want to hold up the entire theater upgrades, so that was why we
Okay.
pushed it to the bond.
All right. And then when you say restroom for stadium, 2 restrooms, 3 stalls, we're talking about actual buildings, yes?
Correct.
Okay, because
Yeah,
the
so-
goal is no more porta potties or no more of any of that.
So
For any school.
you're going to see a lot of references to modular buildings. These aren't your traditional portables. They look like a true building, but it's something that is built in a factory off-site, and they ship it in, and then it's gets stuccoed. You know, it gets true stucco, it gets roofing, things like that. You look at it, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's an actual modular building.
So it doesn't look like a bungalow or
No,
anything?
definitely
Oh,
not.
okay.
These are they've come a long ways since the bungalow type of a project, type of building. We do have like for interim housing, that's kind of the route that we're going for, but that would be
Sure.
a temporary facility until we get the new permanent buildings constructed.
And this would be just a general question for all of the same restrooms or any of the modulars. That will include not only the structure, but everything that goes into building this, the air conditioning,
Correct.
the Wi-Fi, everything.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a complete.
Perfect. Thank you.
Building. Yeah, so
Thank
that,
you.
Yeah, and that's these numbers. They include all of the design costs, all of things like that, all the hidden soft costs that require the construction. This is all inclusive.
Elliot, just to clarify, that's non-furnished, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. So there would need to be your FF&E. That FF&E is part of this overall number, but that we would have to account for that outside of construction costs themselves.
Sorry, FF&E stands for
Furniture, fixtures, yeah.
FF&E.
It's basically furniture.
furniture. Okay.
Yes, furniture.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So I can go through these a lot quicker. Sounds like you guys have already seen look through the list. So at Highland High School, we've got restrooms, athletic field upgrades, lighting renovations, ADA, and fencing. We're looking at a total of $14.5 million for priority 1. Priority 2, this would be the replacement of 50 portable classrooms and replacement with the one-story modular, a group of one-story modular buildings to replace those 50. That's a pretty big number at $51 million. At Knight High School, we're looking at some stadium upgrades and general fencing repairs for a project total or a campus total of $2.8 million. For priority 2, we're looking at some restroom upgrades and modernizations, some work at the field itself, as well as ADA upgrades for a campus total for priority 2 of $11.1 million.
Question.
Yes.
Why is the restroom priority 2? In my opinion, restrooms should be priority 1. I don't know what the board feels, or if that's a part of this discussion. But I mean, restrooms, I would think are a priority for any
Sure.
time.
Yeah, this is the discussion that we're here to have with you guys
Okay,
of what
great.
you would like to see as priority 1 versus priority 2. If you'd like things that are on priority 1, move to priority 2 versus priority 2 to priority 1. We're here to have that conversation
Oh,
with
great.
you guys.
Well, I think you got that answer. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
restrooms should be priority 1.
Okay, no problem.
And to clarify, at Knight High School, these wouldn't, they already have restrooms at their stadium. These would be at the baseball fields. Yeah.
Right, I see that. But there would be new for the baseball fields because they don't currently have them. Right,
And
still
we've had
priority 1.
parents come and talk about this.
Yes,
so that is a
absolutely.
priority. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the conversation we're looking at with you guys. So we can definitely make these adjustments. At Lancaster High School, we have restroom modernizations, work in your athletic fields, work in your gym for lighting, general ADA site improvement, asphalt repairs. We have in here for updating and replacing your elevator, updating and replacing a wheelchair lift, fire alarm replacement, and then some general fencing. So at Lancaster High School, we have a priority 1 total of $20.3 million. And for priority 2, it would be some additional fencing and handrail compliance for a total of $810,000. At Little Rock High School, this would be replacement of 5 classrooms with modular buildings. We would have a little bit of temporary housing included in here for that, work in your gym, in your fields, lighting, ADA path of travel, replacement of an elevator for a site total of $17 million. Priority 2, we're looking at just general grounds replacement. We understand there's some erosion at the stadium that we need to account for and try to fix. And then just some general fencing and blacktop repair for a total of $1 million. At Palmdale High School, we have replacement of 57 classrooms with one-story modular building. So again, we're going to need, we're accounting for temporarily housing 20 classrooms. We're hoping that their plan that we're talking about is phasing the construction so we don't have to have as a big temporary housing cost. Then we also have stadium upgrades, ADA path of travel, fencing for a campus total priority 1 of $62 million. And then we just have some general a general field upgrade line item that may not have to happen now, but it's something that will have to take place for $1.5 million.
I have a question, and then I think Mr. Hughes has something.
Sure.
Oh, okay. For Palmdale, the first line, modular building, portable removal, remove 400, 500, 800, that. Are any of those 400s, 500, 800 currently our SPED classrooms? Do you know?
Don't know that off the top.
The only reason I ask, and if we could just consider, is it is important that wherever the SPED classrooms are, and perhaps the 57 classrooms, we need to make sure restrooms are closer.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah,
to
absolutely.
What currently lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
And in fact, maybe there's just some restrooms that is just for certain
that's
needs.
definitely something that we can take into account as we're putting the project together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a family style.
Yeah, and
for
Amin
students and their
Amin made a
caregivers
good point that when you're putting together these big groups of classrooms, they come with restrooms. So this is factored into that cost.
Right, but these would be, we're looking for special restrooms
Sure,
that are
and
serving
we
the
can,
needs
we can
of our
make those
SPED.
accommodations.
Okay,
When we're putting the project together in design phase, we can specify that kind of information.
Because I know Palmdale, don't they have one of the larger SPED classes? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem. Again, when we get to the design phase of these projects and before we sign off on the design, you guys are going to see what our proposal is, and then we're going to get your feedback and input on
I
any
just may
special
forget
tweaks.
that I've said that, but I want to make sure someone's listening.
Sure, not a problem. All right. So at Quartz Hill, again, we're going to be replacing 62 classrooms. We have a little bit of temporary housing. There's some stadium upgrades that need to happen, ADA path of travel, fencing replacement for a project total of $89 million. Now, I will caveat that the stadium upgrade of $22.9 million is a worst-case scenario. We're not entirely sure what's going to happen with that berm replacement or the berm erosion that's taking place there. So we are budgeting absolute worst-case scenario. We're hoping we can get all that work done for much less without having to affect the entire football stadium, having to reconfigure things like that.
Elliot, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Elliot. So last board meeting, we gave our superintendent instructions on to get the FFA program back up in Quartz Hill. So I'd like to see that somehow modified. So hopefully you don't have to spend all that money, and we can put something here about the expense on the FFA program.
Okay.
You weren't aware of that, but I'm making you aware of it now. So when you redo this, and I'd like to see that.
Not a problem.
All right.
Mr. Hughes, I understand that'll be included. Dr. Grado and I went out to Quartz Hill yesterday. We toured the campus, and there's some existing facilities that will work in the interim. But yeah, we can accommodate a new ag facility. It's just finding a location out of the open land that's there now.
And potentially, I haven't got word back on a potential donation of some land in that area potentially. So we can work that in if that does occur. All right, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, and then at Quartz Hill, priority 2 projects.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm going to interrupt you.
No problem.
And again, this goes to all of our sites.
Yes.
Was parking ever an issue? Parking not structures, but do we have adequate parking for our staff, our students?
So the facility needs assessments that were done by the architects didn't look at that. However, during the design phase of these, we will look at that and
Oh, okay.
factor in that type of information.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so priority two, restroom modernizations. We've got some asphalt repair and seal coating, general fencing, and then some gym bleachers that are not compliant, getting those replaced for a priority two total of $5.5 million. At Soar High School, they're going to have construction of 7 new classrooms and some temporary housing for a project total of $8.9 million.
Elliot?
Yes.
For SOAR,
Yes.
and I guess this is a broader question, are we expanding enrollment and that's why we need more classrooms?
This would be for the SOAR Palmdale campus.
Oh, Palmdale, okay.
Okay. And then we do not have any priority two projects right now at SOAR. At Night Prep Academy, we have some athletic field rehabilitation and some admin office support space for a project total of just over $1 million.
Excuse me, Elliot, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
no problem.
If we could go back to SOAR real quick.
Yes.
SOAR Palmdale currently has their school site, but then they also have classrooms near the ABC campus, Palmdale Center. So are these building onto the Avenue Q site, or is this to help expand near the ABC Center?
This would be on the Avenue Q site. This would be behind the existing school, and this is to accommodate the teachers that are currently housed at the Palmdale Boulevard campus, but to give them a permanent home at the Avenue Q campus.
Okay, so they would not be using that center anymore.
They would still be using it in part, but they'd have a permanent home at the Palmdale campus.
Right. Thank you. Sorry, Elliot.
No problem. This is great conversation. Okay, and then at Night Prep Academy, we've got some restroom upgrades, modernizations, and then there is some general ADA site improvements, but we have that covered under the work within the Night High School itself. So we have a priority two project lift of $731,000. At SOAR Prep Virtual Academy, we do not have any priority one projects. We do have some priority two projects though. We need a new there's going to be a new restroom building and some rehabilitation of the practice field for a project total of $5.4 million.
Remind me, Mr. Nehan, where is SOAR Prep?
SOAR Prep is behind the Quartz Hill High School Stadium, and then the practice field is just to the west of that.
Okay, so bathrooms then would go to priority one, even though it's the virtual academy.
Correct.
Okay.
And SOAR Prep grades, when you do SOAR Prep, what are the grades there?
7 and 8.
Okay. All right.
At Desert Winds High School, there's some just general fencing repair and replacement for a total of $625,000. And then this is a priority two. There's some fencing replacement on the north and east side for a project total of $277,000. At Desert Pathways, we would have installation of 12 new classrooms and 2 restroom buildings as a priority one project for $11.3 million.
And to clarify, that would be moving, this is currently west of the Quartz Hill High School campus as well. This would be moving it to the Palmdale High School campus and accommodating for growth, which then frees up some space at the current SOAR/Desert Pathways complex.
Okay. We do not have any priority two projects for Desert Pathways. So that was the complete list of our projects.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
And this generally again, thinking about our weather, we either really, I mean, today we've broken records of our heat. There you go, 91. It gets very cold out here as well, especially, everywhere. It feels like it's very cold or very hot. Does this take into account those students that have to be dropped off early or later, maybe outdoor heaters or outdoor cooling center zones? Or is that not something this bond would cover?
It would be something we could look at. Again, that would be more of a design piece if we do get to that point and we want to develop something like that. But that wasn't really looked at in terms of a general overview, but something we can look at for design if need be.
Generally for cold weather, even students that arrive early, the cafeteria is opened or classrooms are opened. The hot weather, it's not hot in the morning, but there is ample shade on all of our campuses.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was, like I said, that was the list of our priority 1 and priority 2 projects. So what we are requesting, you guys take a look at this, and then ultimately at your next meeting, we are requesting approval of this project priority list, so that way we can start moving forward. And we're also requesting approval of the bond program policies and procedures manual, because that really does set the formwork and framework for how we move forward our processes. So that with that, we need that manual in order to proceed forward.
Where does the manual come from?
That is something that we developed in conjunction with your district staff members.
So we'll get it before
Yes,
the next meeting?
yes, you will have that before the next board
And
meeting.
then, based on what we've spoken of today, the approval will be on whatever amendments you've made to this list?
Correct, yeah, we can, yes, yeah, we can make those updates and amendments. So once we get your approval, again, hopefully we were requesting your approval at the next board meeting, we can then start really defining the master program schedule. We got to factor into things like procurement of the contracts, and then procurement of all your consultants, the design phase. DSA right now is a big X factor. DSA is a very long process. They're looking anywhere from 9 to 12 months for a project. So we want to make sure we're factoring that in, and then overall construction. And what this really helps us do is speak to your school staff and your campus administrators, so that way we can help them plan for the future and how they're going to be moving, especially with the new classrooms. They need to be able to start packing, planning, know where they're going, and phasing of the project. So this master program schedule really helps us as a tool.
So that, if you go back,
Sure.
that last screenshot.
Oh.
The dates on this.
This is just a sample.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
this
just-
is just a
Yeah, I was
sample
like,
background.
we're way off, Greg.
Yeah, no, this is just a sample of what the program schedule we have
Okay.
developed. Yeah, so this is what, with current dates, this is what your program schedule would look like with colored bars, and labels and things like that.
Elliot, I have a question. And
Certainly.
you do know that we have a community workforce agreement, correct?
You're 2 steps ahead of me, but yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I want to make sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
So-
also,
So it's all gonna be
Yes,
with it.
yeah,
Okay.
that we are definitely well aware of that, and that is on this next slide here, actually. So,
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Jumping the gun
And
there.
then on the timelines, I know that the dates are off, but it looks like it could be done within relatively 1 to a year and a half.
No, this is just a very small snapshot of a much larger set of projects. So we're anticipating roughly 5-ish years.
Now that we have when you have the board approve the list, we are gonna put this in a master schedule format, and you are gonna see. The good thing about the modular construction is the construction duration is a lot faster, and DSA review is also faster. So we are gonna condense and have the project parallel as much as possible. But for the entire bond, we are looking for something about 4 to 5.
All right, so I'm going to clarify her question. Time frame. Can you talk to about a time frame? Year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
5 years, you said.
5 years.
5 from start to finish within 5 years? Okay.
For all schools, all locations.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So then, as we're working on the program schedule, we're also going to be establishing design standards. All of the projects are going to be designed by different architects. We want to make sure everybody is working from the same playbook. So things such like door hardware, architects love to specify their own door hardware that they have connections with, or HVAC equipment. We want that to be uniform across the entire district. This really helps your maintenance staff, because they're going to be buying bulk parts and pieces, so they don't have to stock 5 different manufacturers in their trucks. They can just go to the shelf, pull off the part they need, and know exactly what's there. And also, when manufacturers see that districts start specifying specific their products, they're going to give bulk discounts to the contractors because they know that they're going to be selling a lot of product for those projects. So it's an economy of scale, as well as really helping your maintenance staff make sure that we have an overall standard to work with, and they don't have to stock 20 different pieces and types of components. And then we're going to start design. We've already got our pool of architects. So once we get we start working on the initial project, we'll start design of those. And then we need to select a balance of our program partners. So we need inspection companies. Those are the individuals that represent DSA, ensure that we're maintaining DSA standards. Materials testing labs, so they are the specialists for inspections where the DSA inspector doesn't cover. We need a lot of soil geotech for foundations, things like that. We need the soils reports. And then speaking to your point, we need a labor compliance administrator because of the community workforce agreements. We want to make sure that we're maintaining the requirements and staying within the protocols of that. But also depending upon the delivery method, there's a lot of state requirements that we have to meet for skilled and trained workforce. This labor compliance administrator helps us make sure that we're maintaining the state requirements as well.
Elliot, I got a question.
Absolutely.
And when we're using all these different engineers and architects, we're doing that from our local community, correct?
That's the goal. Yeah,
okay,
that's the goal.
No, that's the instruction. How
Yeah.
about that? Not the goal. We want to see that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Of course. I mean, as long as I can't tell you what to do, but does the board agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Our local. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
and
always-
as much as possible, that's what we try to do,
Okay,
is
great.
because that even gives you a better economy of scale as well, because like the individual before has mentioned, we're not having companies driving from Timbuktu and charging a premium, for travels, subsidies, things like that. Everybody's here local, so that makes it a whole lot more.
Similar to our community workforce agreement, those are our parents of our students.
Right.
That are going to build it, and the parents of our students are also the architects and all that stuff locally. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then once we go through that whole list, congratulations, we're ready to start construction. So that's the ultimate goal. So we work through all that and to get to the point of construction.
is this an example of a modular? No.
That
this is
actually, yeah,
bricks.
that could be what a modular building looks like.
And the design, and you've got two artists up here. Please be thoughtful about the design, and
Sure.
we don't want ugly schools.
Definitely not.
But we do want a cohesive look and aesthetic.
Sure.
But hopefully there's something thoughtful to that, because
We will definitely take into account when we were working with your design teams, take into account the local aesthetic, the community aesthetic, the aesthetic of the overall campus itself, making sure that you don't have a building that sticks out like a sore thumb, that nobody wants to have something like that. So everything will be cohesive to the community and the campus itself. Okay. Any questions?
I've asked as we went, so I'm good.
No problem.
Charles,
All right.
Cynthia.
Thank you
No,
so
this
much.
was really informative.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
for the update. All right, G, update board policies. The board will discuss board policy updates. Mr. Nehan.
So, Madam President, you asked for this to be put on for discussion. We did a quick survey of our board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits. We currently have 680 total on the books. We use Gamut, which is CSBA's policy system. Within those 680, 577 are up to date, meaning there's no updates suggested from Gamut. We do have 521 of those policies of the 680 that have not been reviewed or updated within 5 years, and then we have 83 that are out of date that need an update, and then we have 18 that are not in CSBA. They could have been deleted, or they could be a local policy that a previous board has implemented.
That means we have a lot of work to do. Everybody, get ready. Okay, yes, this is really helpful. I think definitely priorities, those that have not been reviewed in 5 years. That's 521 of them.
The 83 that are out of date, I think would be priority one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking through it and out of date, so that is priority. How can we get that done by the end of the school year?
By the end of the school year, it really
It's just a question.
It depends on the board. Really, this is by end of calendar year, and that would be the board looking at 60 to 70 policies or ARs every board meeting. So it's not impossible.
No, of the 83.
Of the 83, I would ask by the July meeting to have those up to date, and they're really it's up to the board. Yeah, to review them. So yeah, if we make a target to have the 83 updated by July.
But theoretically, when you look at something, it could be still, even though it hasn't been done, there's really no new changes to it.
Of the 83, there's likely changes, either minor or substantive changes. Of the ones that are older than 5 years, no. But does the board want to read all 521 of those?
I mean, I think it's our duty to eventually.
Eventually,
but for
correct.
now,
Yeah.
the 80.
A meeting.
I read.
Well,
I went to school. I
Nice.
know how to read.
Sure,
83. The 83, though, I think are our priorities. Is that correct? Miguel, would you think that the 83 are our priorities?
I'm with you, Mr. Hughes. I will talk with the executive support staff tomorrow and really because there's a lot of work that goes into the updates, and get a reasonable time. We'll shoot for the July meeting, and then.
Or how about this? I'm a reasonable, flexible person. What if we could do half by July?
Absolutely. I can say yes to that.
Half of the 83 by July.
Yeah,
That's
40,
doable.
41.
41.5.
So we can review them, but we eventually, our attorneys have to review them as well. Is that correct?
They don't have to review every one. Most of them come out of Gamut, and we take that language.
Yeah, and it's also,
The only
it's
thing I
helpful.
don't like Gamut is sometimes it's vague.
Yes.
It's very vague.
We got AI, right?
We do. Everyone, the one good thing is that it highlights where it differs, so that's helpful.
And that's all done by staff. That's not done automatically through Gamut. So that's where the time comes in, doing the line out, the redlining, and then the highlighting.
So then it seems reasonable to have 41.5 by July.
That's only 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, we can handle it. And then by the end of the calendar, by 2027, January, hopefully we'll still be here. We can do the rest of those 83. But also, I want us to make sure, because I see here we have the cell phone one that we said we wanted to do before the end of the year, as well as the dress code.
Okay.
So those will come up on a case by case. And then the 18, can you look at those to see if they?
We'll have to review them for relevancy.
Yeah.
And are they up to date, and are they local policies, or have they been? Because it may just come back to the board as a complete deletion.
Right, which is great. Okay. Okay, can we talk about these two policies that are here, the mobile communications and the dress and grooming? Everybody?
Which one?
Well, it's the one stapled together on your, so it's the, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's for cell phones and then the dress code.
Yeah, all right.
Dress code.
Is it working?
Yeah, that's really my question. We'll start with the cell phones. Where are we at with it?
From cabinet.
Any incident? How are the incidents?
And what, based on feedback from site administrators, we've heard from students, it's how it works when it's enforced. And that's like any policy or any rule. You grow what you tend. So the teachers that enforce it in their classrooms, they're finding success. There's going to be resistance from time to time, but enforcement is the key.
Well, but Mr. Neando, you're the superintendent. You write your principals to do what they need to do. And if we have teachers or we have people not enforcing it, we need to address that. Because
Absolutely.
It is a policy. It is a direction from the board. It's what we, worked on. They need, and if we have people not enforcing it, then one, we need to know about that,
Right.
and then we need to have a corrective action plan to make sure they enforce it.
Agreed.
We're just not willy-nilly up here. We have rules for reasons, so.
Well, and it's not just the students. We've been clear that the expectation is for the staff as
Staff as well, yes.
Except if it's for their job duty or those sorts of things, we understand that. Okay, because my question was, is there a thought of using those little zippy bags, or is that?
Not the bags, but the clear plastic lockers. The popularity nationwide of this trend has caused a delay in us receiving them. Dr. Grado, do you have any idea when we'll receive some to do some piloting?
No, we ordered 20 just within the last month, so they should be here pretty much any time. Then we're going to pilot them at Highland and Palmdale High School in a few classrooms.
Yeah, because there's some teachers out there that they're having great success and they have their own little process. And if it's working, I don't mind adopting their system. The people that deal with this is the best people to tell us how it works.
I don't know if that's the success isn't so much of the method as it is so much as a teacher.
Yeah, but they have we've heard some teachers do a certain way and it works for them, or let's find the best way that it works for the most, and then we could put that in a policy is what I'm trying to say, to be flexible, because we can say do it this way, but if it doesn't work, and the innovators are our teachers. They're going to know how to do this. I'm not going to tell them how to do it. I want them to tell me what works, and whatever works, then we can adapt the policy to reflect that, is kind of my position.
And then, if, I'm sure you don't have the answer today, but if you could give us a report on the incidents related to the cell phone defiance. So remember in this policy, the teacher says put away, and then I think it's the third that they get sent away. So I'm just curious on what those numbers look like for each school.
And our new Power School tool is up and partially running, but this may be a way for us to start sampling and seeing how we can drill down for that.
Yeah, okay, great. Any other cell phones before we move to dress code? Okay, dress code, everybody.
How's it working?
How's it working? And I have some questions. Dress code, how's it working?
Getting through winter, and then re-advertising, remaking them aware, and we've been in a hot week. This will be a good time for an assessment of our dress code. It's not nearly as strict as the cell phone policy, so it's working at this point, but there's not a whole lot to work with.
Okay, so I want us, because again, this is a discussion, everyone, so don't panic. Thoughts on potentially, we've been very clear on apparel, no gang related items, no, you have to have tops on, bottoms on. It's pretty loose as far as our dress code, but can we talk about hoodies and the potential outcomes of the hoodie? And do we feel that the hoodie is causing people to kind of live under the hood? They're very baggy. Don't get me wrong, I do love myself a hoodie, but I'm wondering at school if they're hiding things or if it's making people unaware. I don't know if the cameras are being able to pick up when the hoods are down. Again, just a question. Also, I want to look at this policy where it says the board uniforms. The board may approve a school-initiated dress code, et cetera, et cetera. What positive outcomes could come from whatever we define as a uniform? Don't get excited, Mr. Hughes. I'm just asking. I'm just asking
The question
questions.
is do we have a school district that actually enforces a uniform that isn't a private school?
Yes.
Right? Is there a public school here in Southern California, LA County, that we can compare ourselves to and say, how does it work? And
kind of bounce off of. I mean, I think a field trip would be fine if we want to go and kind of just, you know, pick their brain and see how they implement it. Like, we don't have to discover the wheel. You know, we just have to try to make it work. You know, whether it's hoodies, okay, I get the thing about hoodies, but then we also sell hoodies for Spirit, you know, with the kids logo. I mean, so you have to be, this is why I don't like
But we
Emmett.
don't sell that merchandise. Apparently that's all, what do you call it?
ASBs do sell
Oh, they do?
apparel, and it's
Yeah.
also commonly a part of athletics Spirit packs.
Yeah.
And I would
Warm-ups.
say that that's an exception, you know, that the uniforms for athletics are going to be different than the clothes you wear on the daily.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the cheerleaders wear super short skirts and the swim team wears, you know, what they wear. So I'm just trying to find ways for us to create structure and have a little
Discipline.
stricter.
Yeah. Because bottoms, having a bottom and having a top, to me, that's just so vague.
Right.
You know,
But my questions also were what negative would come from it, cost, obviously, lots and lots of thoughts. I believe that TPAA, don't they have, and uniforms isn't like what some wear with the plaid and the white collar and all that kind of stuff.
Catholic school.
Catholic school, essentially. But it's more of a.
It's like the
where-
khaki pants, the you know the
Something
blue
like
shirt or the green shirt or polo shirt with a collar or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I know, trust me, everybody, you know, y'all think, what the heck are you talking about? I get it. This is just questions. We're just
No, and
talking.
I have to agree with you too, because it's also, you know, our jobs as administrators, as trustees, is to get these kids ready for the world, right? First impression is always the best impression. It's always hard to try to make up a bad impression, you know, going from bad to good. It's very difficult.
Yes.
But if not, then who?
Right.
So, yes, there has to be a dress code. It's very important. Kids need to focus on studies. Kids need to focus on not so much the fashion or whatever.
Another
But
thing that we have to think about too is making it affordable.
yeah,
That's
so it's not like it has to be like a pair of are they even around anymore? Dockers? Are they even around anymore? I don't know. But at least to somebody needs to get them ready for the world, right? Like,
Or yes, agreed. And or maybe it's even just you're just wearing your school T-shirt. You know, Palmdale High School, every day, and that's that. A T-shirt, you know, pair of jeans. Okay,
it's not a uniform. It's just a dress code.
And then the standard
Right.
too, because I
Oh,
agree.
what? I'm sorry, repeat.
Oh, the standard of what the
Oh.
expectation in the schools, because there's times where, you know, I'm walking through and I can see the full-blown boxers, you know, all the way down, or you can see the G-strings popping up, or same with the hoodies, they're loose, and the impression that it does that sometimes the clothing can be perceived as intimidation. It's an intimidation tactic, or they can hide things around it. So I agree with you, Rosemary, getting ready for the future and walking around a school like that. I mean, I saw a newscast where they're trying to dress code at airports, or how people dress when they go to Walmarts. I just think there should be a standard.
It's just
in our
enough with the pajamas, all right?
It's all over the, you know, just the perception in our schools. I think the students should get ready. And as much as we pride ourselves on CTE programs and theater and art and how we're getting our students to be able to pick up jobs, mortgage paying jobs anywhere, to neglect how important one's dress code is, I think is something that we're not preparing our students for, and we really should.
And I know the academy, like the healthcare academy, they'll wear their scrubs to
When they
those
go to their
particular classes, and they're good. You know, they're ready to go. They've got their scrubs on, moving into this next.
A lot of that comes from also where we have to really sit down and take a look at how we're going to maybe seek advice from other school districts like Lancaster, West Side, East Side, because those are the feeder schools. That's where we're getting the kids from. And so they also have to set standards. They also have to have dress codes. you know, and everybody thinks dress code, oh my God, it's a uniform, you have to wear, you know. No, it's just, you want to make a good impression, even if it is coming to school, because that's the job. The job is just to come to school.
Mr. Nan, when we were putting this policy together, there were some issues that hamstrung us on this policy, correct? Coming from the state, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I think we all
Okay,
need
well,
to,
that too.
I think we all need to,
That too.
I think we all should kind of understand that we have so much power, but then we are restricted based on law, based
We only
on
knew somebody that's
based
gone to
on
Sacramento.
instruction. If we only knew someone in Sacramento.
But if it was an assembly person.
Isn't that true, Mr. Nguyen?
That is correct.
We
There
were-
are some things that we're not allowed to prescribe in a dress code.
Hence, that's why it's not the hardest dress code.
But I
up
think
to
it's
the
worth having a
extent-
conversation. I mean, it's,
Well, here's one of the things I think we all have to look at. I can write a policy, I can write a procedure, right? Can I enforce it? If I write a policy and I can't enforce it, it's not worth the paper it's written on. You follow me?
But our cell phone policy, we just discussed about enforcing it.
No, what I'm saying is if you write a policy and you can't enforce it because we're bound by
Like state.
the state, First Amendment, right, whatever, all that, the legal stuff, Title IX, why would we write something we can't enforce? That's a bad policy.
the cell phone policy was actually the state of California that did. Find it.
And we look stupid if I write a policy that I can't enforce. So I always
We just have to make sure we
There's
write
no-
something we can enforce. So we'll just write something we can
what
enforce.
you have to do is come up with our ideas, which is good, right? Dress code, whatever, and then we have to run it through the gambit and say, can we do this, Mr. Nehan, Jabari? Can we get this done? Just be prepared when they say, yeah, no.
But they can tell us what can be done.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think we did. I think we went through that process, Greg, when we came up with this policy. Is what I'm
With the
saying.
exception of a uniform.
Yeah, but I don't know if that. But that's something we could ask Jabari to review. I don't know if we go there, but I mean, because I think it's the cost and
Yeah,
prohibitive.
absolutely. I
And,
mean-
and you have to look at our students. We have the highest foster kid numbers in LA County. Is that correct?
Yes.
And those, you know, we have to, you know, we talk about prom ticket prices. We talk about all that stuff. So we have to be very intentional in us developing policy.
Yes. Well, then what I would ask in the now, because this will be an ongoing discussion, I would imagine, that the dress code, this dress and grooming policy 5132 and the regulation, our school sites have to enforce it more. Because the fact that Trustee Hernandez is talking about people's G-strings and boxer shorts is unacceptable.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But then
right,
it
enforcement,
goes back to repetition. I mean, I know that we have a policy. I know that in the beginning of the school year we shot it. We shot it out. We even had students here saying, "Oh my God, I didn't even see it." Yeah, okay.
Right.
So it's like maybe every other week, just shoot it out. You know, it's like just saturate it.
Just make it a priority.
Yeah.
To try to enforce it.
Yeah, because you can only do it.
Right.
It's back to we have a policy and we have the ability to enforce it, and we're not enforcing it. That's a no go. We need to enforce it.
Right, because I mean, I'm in the position of we'll find out what we can do for uniforms and how we can pay for it for our students. If we keep seeing G-strings and things that I don't want to see when I go on a high school campus.
But you're not supposed to see a G-string based on our policy that we could enforce. So that's an
Or
enforcement
boxers.
that we do.
Right.
That's through our
So then,
security, that's through our teachers,
Carla,
that's through our staff.
it's really more of a code than a uniform policy. It would have to be a dress code. That's just.
Yeah, well, I mean, but here it's a policy, dress and grooming. It's labeled as policy and regulation, but yeah,
But go back to your point. I don't know if there's any school that I know of that public school that has in this area or in LA that has.
And I'm sure there's plenty of people having the conversation.
charter schools, they're public schools.
I mean, like high schools, right? Because elementaries have them.
Yeah, elementary.
Yeah, we would want to look at high schools.
Yeah, because I know
specifically.
there's one, I think it's
Apples to
the
apples.
USC hybrid, which is a public school under LAUSD, and they have.
But is that like one of our SOARs or something like that? Is that like what
Does
those
SOAR
types of schools?
Do our SOAR schools, do they have a dress code, a stricter dress code?
Same as this.
Same as this.
The only sites that are different, they have a little bit stricter dress code are the academies of the Antelope Valley, the two middle schools. They have a little bit different, and they're allowed to adapt their own. I mean, it's a little stricter, just the kids are younger.
Okay, great. Well,
But
this,
Can you look at that, Mr. Nean, and see if there is a school that fits our narrative that, like Madam President was asking, is there one in Southern California? I'd like to know that.
and I would even, not even just Southern California, but any demographic that's similar in the nation. You think just California?
Yeah, because of the California guidelines.
But I mean, a uniform's a uniform, no?
It is California.
Okay. In California, please. Great.
Go to Texas, it might be different.
I don't want to go to Texas. Oh, wait, I'm going to Texas next month. Okay, safety update. H, the board will receive a presentation about the safety update. Ms. Ramos.
This is something we got to do.
This is exciting.
Good evening, board. Thank you for the opportunity to provide you an update related to school safety. I heard there's some excitement for it, and there should be. Last year, you made a significant investment in safety. You gave us some marching orders about improving the safety on our campuses, and I think you'll be pleased to hear what has happened already in a very short amount of time. But before we launch into the new technologies that we've adopted, safety begins with all of us. We all have a collective responsibility for safety, not only in our workplace, in our schools, but in our community. We just happen to be so fortunate to have a team whose primary responsibility is dedicated to student safety and staff safety. And that starts with a 2-decade partnership with the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department. And we are so fortunate we have Sergeant Chris May leading our team. He has brought a renewed sense of enthusiasm and excitement, a focus on relational capacity between our deputies and our students. And I think I talk to him every week. I don't know that a week has gone by since he's been in the position where it's not an update on an ongoing situation or just a, hey, want you to know your campuses are great. Leading the team of deputies is our team lead, Jeremiah Nurse, and we should all be so proud of him because Jeremiah started with us as a campus supervisor, resigned from the district to become a deputy, and now is a team lead for our schools unit. An awesome, awesome individual. We have 9 campus deputies, 8 serve at our comprehensive high schools, and we have 1 roving for our small sites and our alternative ed sites. And then we have a dedicated detective at the sheriff's station for our team. Can't speak highly enough of this partnership and just really appreciate the collaborative nature that we have there. Our employees, we have directors of school site safety. We have 9 total, 8 assigned to our comprehensive high schools and 1 roving for our small sites and our alternative sites. And they lead a team of campus supervisors and locker room attendants ranging from 8 to 12 employees. These are our frontline people. They're the ones that have strong relationships with students, allow us to get ahead of potential incidents on our campuses, and really try to remediate before an incident occurs. But in the unfortunate sense that there is an incident on campus, there are first responders. We have dedicated professional teams, and we're so happy to have them day in and day out, not just during the school day, but they're working nights, weekends for all the things happening at our schools. And then there's some unsung heroes here at the district office that we don't often talk about in terms of safety, but they're so important, and that's our risk management team. They are leading our emergency operations committee. They are processing any potential loss or liabilities from the district. They are working with employees who may be injured during the workday, and so we're very, very grateful for that team. They're housed out of the business department, but they are an essential part of our response to safety. So people is the first step and the most important step, because none of the next things matter if we don't have a solid team in place. But over the last year, we have invested significantly in Verkada camera system upgrades at all of our district sites, evolved weapons detection systems that have been implemented at all school and district properties, and a Centegix alert badging system for all employees in the district. And I'm going to go through each of them briefly to give you an idea of where we're at. So our Verkada camera system upgrades. To date, we've installed 888 cameras on our campuses. We are still in the works going through some of our smaller campuses, and then that installation team will circle back around to make sure that all of our cameras are working properly and that we have full coverage of our facilities. Those cameras have already proved to be such an asset, not only in perimeter control and observation, but also when an incident occurs, we're able to locate that and really get a true picture of what happened. We're looking at piloting the vape detection system that partners with Verkada. So it is one of their solutions. We're going to pilot that at 2 schools in the coming months and see if that can help us attack our vaping problem that we see across the nation on high school campuses. Evolve. I knew that our schools are busy, but I had no idea to the extent that they're busy. I've provided the number of individuals screened district-wide for each month since we implemented Evolve. In October, 509,000 people went through an Evolve system. And that's coming on to school every day, that's coming to an athletic event, that's coming to a performing arts event, back to school night, you name it, we're using those Evolve weapons detection systems for any district event that we're hosting. We have averaged out our alert rate is about 10%. That's pretty typical alert rate. That is when the Evolve system indicates that there's a need for a secondary search. So instead of our campus supervisors just going in blindly to search an individual, they know the exact location of the potential item of concern, and they're able to isolate that search to that particular spot or backpack, and then clear that depending on. Oftentimes it can be a glasses case. If you've gone to SoFi and you alert every time it's your glasses case. It could be a cluttered backpack, which I know no kids in our district have cluttered backpacks, but there's a potential of various reasons, and obviously the one we're trying to avoid is a weapon in their possession. Our Centegix alert systems, these are the badges that every employee is assigned. The badges allow the employee to call for help. 3 clicks, I need help, and that sends a response team here at the district that consists of myself. Give a shout out to Chris in the back. Chris is our responder of that, and Matt Anderson in our department. That allows us, that could be for a medical emergency in this building. At school, it could be for a physical altercation, some concerning behavior of students, a medical emergency at the school site. And that response goes to the security team, the site admin, school nurse, and the principal secretary. And so it pinpoints the exact location of the concern. That team can get right to where that person called for help. The badges have another feature that allow this individual, every individual employed by our district, to lock down any facility. Seems a little concerning when we first rolled them out. Well, we're going to give everybody the ability to lock down a high school at any time, and we did, and we have not had an issue. We've had some false alarms. We've had some situations where someone may have been flustered because of a fight and clicked too many times and locked it down, and that's okay. Our response is the same. If you were at the event this morning, you saw the response. Our phones go off. A lockdown goes to all cabinet, Maddie Anderson, and we respond, and that's at any school site. So today, our phones went off. You probably saw Mr. Anderson stands up, exits the building. I grab my iPad, exit the building. He's making contact with the school site. I'm pulling up the cameras to locate where that potential threat occurs. He's relaying information to me. I'm relaying it to the superintendent and to cabinet. That can happen anywhere. We've had that happen when we're at Palmdale High School, not in this building. We've had that happen. I was at Quartz Hill. Mr. Anderson was at a recruiting event. We are able to collaborate and support the efforts of the school site in seconds and seamlessly. It's been incredible. Oh, great. Yes, so when someone locks it down, for a 3-click, only that response team is getting that alert. So that's not disrupting anyone's class or education. An 8-click that locks it down, we actually have beacons here. You'll see them. I don't know if I can point them out because I can't. Do you see them? Oh, right here. These beacons here. Here's one. During a lockdown, it'll start to strobe red to indicate that there's a lockdown. Everyone's computer screens will be taken over. It'll say lockdown, it'll give directions. Let's say it was an earthquake. I can set off an earthquake alarm, and so then the strobe is a different color for earthquake. The computer screens say earthquake, duck and cover, wait for directions, fire. All the schools have that. So you could be teaching, a lockdown occurs, you're going to be notified by the strobe, you're going to be notified by the overhead announcement, and your computer screens will be taken over. It's pretty amazing technology. I sort of went into this. I had created the incident response example for you prior to this morning, and then I thought, well, you watched it happen live, so I can just use that as an example. That was a false alarm. It was an inadvertent click, and we were able to clear it just within minutes. So many times in education, it takes a while to realize, did your investment make an impact? Education is a slow-moving ship, as I know we've talked about many times with the board. This impact and this investment was immediately seen. All of these solutions went into place this fall, and our LCAP survey response regarding safety showed improvement. I think it was the highest area of growth for students, staff, and parents. It's pretty incredible return on investment in a really short amount of time. So thank you for your support. The people that we serve feel safer in their environment, and that's what we're all here for, because when that condition is met, we know that students can achieve and teachers can teach. So appreciate that, and happy to answer any questions.
I have a question on the survey. How many people took the survey? The survey was students or teachers? I'm sorry, I don't know if you said that, I missed it.
So there's 3 boxes on the survey. The first one is students, I feel safe, then parents, I feel my students safe, and employees, I feel safe at work. And I hate to put Dr. Grado on the spot. I don't know the total responses for this year's LCAP.
Yes, you put me on the spot. I could get that information though.
And then I know that the cameras and the Centegics, they're more like post-incident tools. They're not really preventative. So that's why I questioned how many people feel safe, because the cameras and the Centegics don't prevent the problems. They just, it's after to document it. So I would like to know, to get more information on how many people took the survey. That's one thing. And then I think when it comes to the staff, I know that they're mobile, right? The
Evolve
mobile,
systems.
so they're able to move. Okay. I was with one school, and I think the wind had knocked it down. It had ruined it. So
yeah, we did have a wind issue, and so we just met with our directors this week, and everyone's ordering sandbags for some of those windier days. And we did increase our purchase of those systems. So initially, we purchased 2 for each school, but you can see the number of people we have coming through our schools. All of our 8 comprehensive sites have 4 units now. So we've been able to still continue screening even with that system down. But Evolve has been great about sending replacement parts and helping our teams repair those immediately.
I think maybe in the future we'd like to also see or hear about more of the preventative measures. Do the students feel safe? Do the students feel safe in reporting any incidents? Do they feel supported by the staff? That would be great to hear, preventative measures versus post-incident items that we've implemented.
Absolutely.
I have a question, Christina. You mentioned performing arts events, etc., for Evolve. How is it determined when Evolve goes to an event?
So if the district is hosting the event, the direction has been to use Evolve. So if it's our event, our students, we have Evolve there for security with outside people coming in. Oftentimes our facilities are rented by other agencies, and they have the option to implement our Evolve system. It comes at an increased cost because you have to have additional security there to man the system. So we allow that to be optional for entities that are looking to use our facilities.
Because the reason I say is I was at Eastside High School on Friday for their performance. There was probably 350 people there, and it wasn't there. So I'm just wondering why not? And there wasn't even barely any staff. The 2 security, of course, they were amazing. I had to talk to them and get involved because it was a thing. But yeah, if we could just be consistent with Evolve at events that are district hosted.
Right.
Yeah, it was not there. Thank you.
We'll address.
So I have two things. Graduation this year, some of them are being held off campus. Will we be able to transport those Evolve to like AVC? I think Highland is going to be at AV College, and then we have one over at the stadium, the Alta Stadium. I think they have some, but why would we want to pay them extra if we have them?
Yeah, and I can't remember, did Lancaster High School graduate at,
Last year they used their own field.
okay, so they did use the technology on their own field, but yes, we will ensure that at our graduation, whether that's using AV Altas, if we have to pay that rental fee or not, but the expectation will be they will be in place at graduation, and we piloted that last year with Lancaster High School.
I remember that. It was just that they're moving off campus this year, so for whatever reason.
We can work with those
maybe
agencies.
The wind was big deal. Yeah, wind is the marketing event. That's a good one. And just more of a comment. Lately, there was a couple of weeks ago, there was an attack on some ROTC students, not in our state, but it was outside of, I don't know, somewhere in the Midwest. So for me, it's like that's enough of a warning that we really need to start paying attention and being proactive. And our schools are such soft targets that, you know, like now my heart's in my throat, like, oh my God. Yeah. So just.
And if there was a one-size solution to school safety, we would all, right, there's no price tag that we would put on that. This layered approach really has increased what we had last year. And it's just, there's multiple avenues to attack school safety, if you will. And so absolutely, this spring, this is kind of our time to make sure the safety plans are updated, that's reviewed with staff. As the weather gets warmer, sometimes student behavior gets a little riskier. So we absolutely will keep that up top of mind.
Okay, well, thank you.
Any other questions? This was great.
Thank you.
Christina and your team for putting this together. Thank you so much. And thank you to the board for approving these expenses, really. Mr. Hughes, I know you were our leader on that, so thank you. Okay, it's time to say goodnight. It's recommended that the board adjourn the meeting. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? Seeing none? Good night, everyone. See you April 7th.